Welcome to the channel, bringing a real-world perspective to the real-world whiskey consumer.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Erin.
And today we're talking about the 5 best bourbons and ryes that we own. Period. Point blank. No consideration.
Period.
For price. No consideration.
I don't know why I did that.
No consideration for availability. I don't know why she did that either. I don't even know what's happening right now.
I don't know why I do the things I do, y'all.
But we're talking about our 5 best bottles in our home, in our collection. Fun topic. Yeah. Would love to hear what your 5 favorites are and yours. I guess we should say these are our favorites.
They are
the best bottles we own, but we're not saying they are the best, period.
Well, we consider them the best.
No, not the best unilaterally.
We consider them the best that we own. I would really be interested in hearing what the 5 best whiskeys you own are.
Yeah.
Leave that in the comments
special occasion bottles that you pull out when you have company over, friends, family, you want to share something that's really nice, really special.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. And we're talking about how we got them or what we had to do to get them. There's a PG-13 rating on this video.
I got the hookup. Holla if you hear me.
But there's not an R rating on this video, so we're going to be okay. Let's get into our list. Jack Daniel's Coy Hill. 140.2 proof. Big boy hazmat bourbon. Hazardous materials. Jack Daniel's is doing some fantastic stuff with their special release items. I don't think we've ever tried one that we haven't loved. There's not a lot of them out there, but we're really excited about what's coming down the pipeline.
Yeah.
The reason this is an interesting bottle to talk about is because Coy Hills, these are the single barrels. We never did get to try the small batch, which was even higher proof.
Oh.
By most accounts, was even better than these single barrels.
Interesting.
We have tried about half a dozen of the single barrels, and we've owned a few bottles. A lot of it has come through trading. Like, we've had to trade some stuff to get our hands on Coy Hills.
Yeah.
But it is a bourbon whiskey that is so concentrated in flavor that it offers an experience that's so unique that it's the type of thing that I'm willing to trade some things away for.
It's not an everyday pour.
No, definitely not. Very special occasion stuff.
Very special occasion. Very much a nuanced pour.
Yeah. These right here, we've owned 3 bottles. 2, well, 1 was great. 1 was... It wasn't as good as I would have liked it to be. It was a little hot and just like for the sake of being hot.
Yeah.
And then who knows about this one? We haven't opened it yet. But then also when Coy Hill came out and I realized how much I liked it, I started trading everything I possibly could to get samples of it, to get bottles of it. Ended up with 3 bottles. Ended up with a bunch of samples. We've tried a little over a dozen of these.
We also had a bottle, like a partial bottle gifted to us.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
That was, you know who you are.
That was
Thank you very much.
Yes, that was our first, like, this is our bottle, was a partial bottle that was gifted to us.
Yep.
So, and it was delicious.
And we realized how much we liked it.
Yes.
So for this particular bottle, we said we were going to talk about what we had to do to get it. While these were $70, they are being resold for $400, $500 to $700 or more dollars.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
This particular bottle, I had to trade a 4 Roses single barrel distillery pick.
Okay.
And a just standard distillery pick, nothing special, not like one of the 16 years, just like a 10, 11 year OBSF or something. And a like 90% full Weller foolproof pick to get this. I think that's what I traded for this.
That sounds
I've done so many trades to get the bottles that you're going to see today.
Yeah.
So this right here.
Spoiler alert, Josh trades a lot.
Yeah. Well, I don't sell anything we get, but I will trade things to try to get things I might like more.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it goes. But this stuff right here is just, it's such a dense, concentrated extract bourbon type flavor.
Yeah.
I know it's Tennessee whiskey. Jack Daniel's master distillers have said it's bourbon. The Tennessee whiskey thing is marketing. We're not having a conversation about that. But Coy Hill is such a unique product in that it is produced in such limited quantities. Like they only had a little bit of this stuff. So it's a really special bottle. Easily one of our favorites. Some single barrels of this that I've tried particularly have been probably the 2nd or 3rd best whiskey that I've ever tasted in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a bold statement.
I do like dense concentrated flavors and that kind of extract type of experience. So that's why I'm saying that. Not nuanced. This is a sledgehammer, but I like that. It definitely
is a sledgehammer.
This is the death metal of whiskey, and I love it.
And if you're here for the ride, like, it will take you on a great ride.
Yeah. might as well stay on the Jack Daniels train. The other special release that is one of the best whiskeys that we own is this special release rye. This was the 2020
So
special
good.
release, and we've had 2 bottles of this. Again, we had to get them through trades. We missed the boat on them.
Tradesies.
Yep. And that's just the way it goes. So
Yeah.
for this stuff, though, I don't think I've ever tried a better rye than this. I've liked it better than...
And you are historically not like a rye fan.
Right.
You have come around to some ryes, but you are not an overall like rye drinker.
Right.
Yeah.
But this stuff right here is a rye for a bourbon drinker, particularly a high proof bourbon drinker.
Yep.
I'm honestly telling you guys, this is one of the best things I have ever tried. It's easily in my top 10 of whiskeys ever.
Wow.
We do have 2 bottles in the house, and I've also taken to collecting the Tennessee Tasters that came out preceding this 2020 special release. They are a small batch rather than single barrels. I do tend to flip-flop on which I like better. Sometimes I like the small batch Tennessee Tasters better. Sometimes I like these better, but these are long out of production, 3 years now.
These
so
are the Tennessee Tasters.
the Tennessee Tasters are more than 3 years out of production.
Okay.
So you got to go through some trade avenues, some secondary purchasing to be able to get your hands on them. But for these right here, I've traded into the single barrel bottles that we've gotten. The Tennessee Tasters, although very slim pickings out there, you can find them for $70, $80 if you can find them.
Okay.
For a good price. So I've taken to collecting as many of those as I can get. I will lament when this stuff is gone. However, do not fret. Jack Daniels is releasing single barrel proof ryes under their umbrella of main offerings.
It's about dang time.
Yep. So it'll have,
Let's be honest.
just like the gold label Jack Daniels single barrel proof whiskeys, it will have that, but then there's a strip below that that says rye, and then it has the proof. Some of them are even hazmat. They're over 140 proof.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and they're about $75,
Okay.
which is a fantastic price. So even though we only have a limited supply of these, we do have some hope on the horizon. I have gotten a sample from a local friend who had a bottle. I have blinded it against this and the
You got a
Tennessee
sample
Taster,
of the
new released rye,
Okay.
the barrel proof rye. And it did come in last to the Tennessee Tasters and the single barrel. However, there is still that big proofy Jack Daniels rye DNA in there.
Okay.
And keep an eye out for those on the shelves. You do not want to miss out on them.
So this stuff is so good.
So yeah,
I
so
love
good.
it.
We love finished ryes. You just like ryes, period.
I like rice, period, but I have come to learn that I really like finished rice.
Yeah.
A lot.
I love finished ryes because you get the sweetness of the finishing barrel that kind of augments and complements the rye spice.
Yeah.
And the rye flavors. And Port Perry Perry from Foregate is a port finish rye. So something like Midwinter Night's Dram, that's 98.6 proof. You're getting a similar experience, but at 112.2 proof.
I will say,
Big proof, big flavor.
personally, I like this Port Perry Perry more than Midwinter's.
Way better, personally speaking.
Yes.
Yeah, Foregate is one of those companies that for $200 or more a bottle, it's hard to get behind them if you've never tried them before. And we can relate because, number one, we don't like spending that much money on a bottle of whiskey, period.
It's a lot.
Secondly, we don't want to spend that much money without having tried it. However,
Yes.
because of the channel, we have had the opportunity to try some of their products. We had this in a blind Pours Unknown, or I think back then it was called First Sips, our Monday videos. And it really, really impressed us. We ended up buying 2 bottles of it. And what we had to do to get this one, we didn't have to trade anything, but we did have to jump through some hoops and use some connections out of state that helped us find bottles that we could get our hands on. So this is the type of pour. We've finished one of our bottles. This one only comes out for special occasions, for guests who are in town. We want to be able to share it with them and let them experience it. But again, there's like this whiskey extract goodness that is in it. There's a dense concentration of flavor that just doesn't exist.
That's not, it's sweet, but it's not too sweet. I think it's the perfect mashup. So Josh likes very sweet whiskeys or bourbons. I like not very sweet ryes, and it's a perfect mashup between the two. I think it's like our marriage.
Yeah.
It's the perfect marriage of Josh and Aaron.
But when it comes to this, after you're finished gagging over there, when it comes to this stuff, Foregate is one of the only companies I can think of that I'm willing to part with this much money for.
It's a lot of money.
I'm kind of convinced they don't release substandard products. Now, don't go buying one of their bourbon rye blends if you don't like Ryes. Don't go buying a rye if you don't like Ryes.
Fair.
Just saying.
I would try it before you buy it because it is a lot of money.
Right. But if what they release is in the wheelhouse of what you like, let's say you like finished bourbons and they release a finished bourbon, I'm at the point now with Forgate, until they prove me wrong, I would just buy whatever you can get your hands on. And the Kelvin collaborations are always really good as well. So Forgate is doing a lot of really good things. Probably the best sourcing and finishing in the game right now. That combination, they've kind of gotten a corner on the market in my mind, and I'm going to trust in them until they let me down. They haven't yet. This one might seem a little obvious, but Buffalo Trace Antique Collection, George T. Stagg. This is the 2020, and this is a bottle that we have drank all the way through. We got it in a raffle, so didn't have to do. That's how we got it. We didn't have to do anything super special for it. We went to a store a few minutes before they opened. They were doing a raffle. We just happened to draw. I happened to draw the lucky number. And by we,
he means him. Yeah. I didn't go.
I happened to draw the lucky number. Yep. It was retail, $10 over retail, $109.99. So I was willing to pay that to get my hands on it. But we've actually drank through most of this bottle. We have 1 ounce left. I have refilled it. There's a blend experiment happening inside of this bottle right now, but it looks better full on camera than if it were an empty bottle. But we did get it through a raffle. These things don't fall off trees, as I'm sure you guys know. The 2020, honestly, actually hasn't held up in blinds for us very well. Like, we've had a lot of stuff that has gone toe to toe with it or beat it. I think certain Stagg Junior batches have beat it for us. There have been Jack Daniel's barrel proof single barrels that have gone toe to toe with it. We've had some store picks of various products that have gone toe to toe with it.
So why is this in our best?
Well, a lot of people consider this to be one of the best bourbons ever released.
But is this our best? I'm just gonna.
In the house, yes. In the house, we do still have an ounce of this left, and it is a very, very good whiskey. However, in blind tastings, it hasn't lived up to the hype. Okay. So I think that is something that's interesting to note. Yeah. This is the best, but in blinds, there are things that can stand up to it. So
that is a fact.
There's a little bit of a public service announcement in here. There are people who will go out right now and see this bottle on shelves for $900 or $1,000 or more.
Oh my gosh.
It's not worth that. Please don't spend that on a George T. Stagg. However, the new batch, the 2022 batch, is markedly better than this 2020 batch from what we've tried. But I still wouldn't go out and pay $1,000 for it. But at retail or a little above, I would be happy paying that for George T. Stagg. I would trade something if I had anything of trade value to get into the 2022 or one of the older batches. We've tried some of the older batches and those have been quite good. But the 2020 in particular didn't blow us away. But it's hard not to include it in a best of list when you're talking about the best bottles in the house because it is very good. Now, the blend that's in this is something we're going to talk about next. Not to be homers, but...
What does that mean?
Homers, like home field bias.
Oh.
But this right here is legitimately one of the best bottles that we have in the house.
No joke.
And this is a Nashville Barrel Company pick that we did with Matt Porter of ADHD Whiskey.
Although I think the kids are saying no cap. Is that still a thing?
I'm not even acknowledging that comment. So we're going to move on. And for this right here, we've also done a subsequent follow-up pick that these are both sold out, unfortunately. But the Nash Tucky, which this is Kentucky-sourced bourbon, aged in a Kelvin barrel for 5 years. If you take this stuff and mix it with the other pick that we did, and then add in a splash of 2020 George T. Stagg,
hence
that's what's in that bottle.
The 1 ounce of George T. Stagg that you're saving?
Yes, that's what's in that bottle.
Yeah.
So
you've mixed this with the other Nashville Bourbon Company...
That we did, yep.
That we did pick, the...
People's Bourbon.
The People's Bourbon.
And then I put the George T. Stagg, a little splashy splash of it in there. It's like 5% of the blend. And I still have some left.
So when are we going to try it?
It needs to mingle for a while. Okay. But nonetheless, let's get back on topic.
Sorry.
Store picks. I mean, this is one of our picks. Yes. But to be fair, store picks honestly are some of our favorite whiskey. Period.
And also, to be fair, Nashville, where we live, is a very store pick heavy town.
Right.
So I know not a lot of places are similar to that. So if you are in a location where store picks are a thing, take advantage of that, because we have found some of our most favorite bottles to be store picks, which is unfortunate because you can't really get them again unless you can get that same exact store pick.
Well,
however, it's been very fun.
Yeah, I mean, single barrels are single barrels. So once they're gone forever. This is one we wish we could reincarnate.
Yes.
We wish we could raise it up like Lazarus and have as much of this as we possibly could get our hands on.
100%.
But the Nash Tucky that we picked, same run of barrels, also very good.
Very similar profile, but different.
Yeah, I mean, there was a run of about 30 barrels around Nashville that were in that same kind of run. We're trying to get all that we can. We're trying to Pokemon them, catch all we can.
Yeah.
But it's not just specific to Nashville Barrel Company, although for us, that's our hometown kind of lane, and we can try it before we buy it at the distillery. So that's something that we really like. But try more single barrels. I mean, you can find something you like. And if you find something you like, go back and buy more, because you know that that specific single barrel is going to be exactly what it is.
There's a finite amount of it.
Right. Whereas if you take a batch product, like let's just say you really, really, really love Rare Breed like we do, Rare Breed comes out in batches, and those batches drift in flavor over time. And I personally think Rare Breed right now is on a little bit of a downward trajectory over what it was a few years ago. Maybe it probably will come back up at some point, but right now it's in a little bit of a slump for us, and we don't find ourselves reaching for it as much as we used to because it's a little bit brighter and a little bit sweeter, and it doesn't have the depth and the complexity.
Do you think it's because it's youthful, more youthful maybe?
They may be mixing in more 6-year or something like that, but when it comes to a single barrel pick, particularly these for us are just it's where it's at. And I mean, these are ones we are picking, so this isn't like a promo or whatever. It's just, I will say, from the standpoint of being a person picking the barrels, it's really nice to pick something that you know you like. So if you like our palettes and you want to get some of our single barrels, then definitely check out our Patreon. That's where those come out. But if you don't want to do that, please just find some single barrels in your market, try some stuff. You might find something you really like, and if you do, rush back to the store and buy more, because that's the beauty of single barrels. You can stock up a little bit on something that you really love. And if you love this content, be sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video while you're at it. And while you're down there, go ahead and tickle our bell. Join us for a live stream. Join us for a pour. We would love for you to be a part of the channel.
Absolutely. That's it for today. Be good to each other. And until next time,
cheers.
Cheers.